So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. Through this lecture series, you get to revise your current affairs and you get the much needed MCQ practice. Now, let me promise you one thing. If you follow this lecture series on a daily basis, it might seem that you're just covering 5 MCQs or 4 MCQs. But if you're consistent with it and you're doing it on a daily basis, these 555 MCQs would add up to 1200 MCQs by the time you are ready for your next year's prelims examination. And I don't need to tell you this, but MCQ practice is very important for prelims examination. Current affairs are very important for prelims examination. So to practice your current affairs through MCQs is a must. And you should begin now. Don't wait for 2 or 3 months before prelims examination. Only then you will get activated for prelims. No, you should be activated for prelims way before, 1 year before prelims examination. So do this regularly and you won't need to worry for your current affairs portion as far as prelims is concerned. Okay, so make this lecture series a part of your daily routine. And on that note, let's begin today's lecture with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding sponge city concept. It refers to urban areas having abundant natural sites that absorb rainwater and prevent flooding. Natural ways to absorb water in urban areas is 50% more affordable than man-made solutions. Sponginess of a city is measured by comparing cities, trees and lakes to how much concrete they have. How many of the above statements are correct? Now look, urban flooding has become a big phenomenon. Okay, many cities all over the world are facing this problem of urban flooding, and the reason for that is mostly cities are made up of concrete. Therefore, it is very difficult for these cities to absorb excess rainwater. Earlier, when people used to reside in villages, well, in villages there is a lot of soil, empty soil. There are a lot of forest areas. There are a lot of lakes, artificial ponds, right? These things used to absorb rainwater, okay? And that is why those villages or those areas didn't face this phenomena of flooding. But since urban areas are mostly concrete, they face this problem of urban flooding because water has nowhere to seep into the ground, okay? That is why this concept of sponge cities is gaining currency. Sponge cities are urban areas that have abundant parks, abundant tree cover, abundant empty soil, and lakes, ponds, areas, water bodies that absorb excess rainwater. So that is why these cities act like sponges and they absorb excess rainwater and they reduce flooding. So this is correct. Now, earlier, when urban areas used to get flooded, the city administration used to create proper drainage pipes and they used to enhance the drainage infrastructure. But it is said that these natural ways of trees, soil, forest, lakes in urban areas are 50% more affordable than man made solutions. So, while planning an urban center or during urban planning, one should focus more on natural ways for drainage rather than artificial ones. Now, how can you measure sponginess of a city? Okay, it is measured by ratio of these trees and lakes to the concrete they have. And various areas or various researchers are using AI tools to measure this. AI tools, satellite imagery to measure this. So this is also correct. All three statements are correct. Question number 2. Consider the following statements regarding Saudi Arabia's NEOM project. It was announced in 2017 and is part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 project. Vision 2030 project seeks to reduce Saudi Arabia's dependence on crude oil. The project's name is a fusion of words from two different languages, Aramaic and Arabic. Which of the above statements are correct? Now look, in 2017, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, popularly known as MBS, launched this project called NEOM project. Okay, now this NEOM project actually consists of 5 cities, 5 mega high-tech cities. Like there is this famous city, the Line. It will be a 170-kilometer long line which will be a city and a high-tech city completely powered by renewable energy. Then there is this city called coastal city called Oxagon. Okay, so they will build 5 cities and 5 tourist destinations. Okay, 5 cities, some of them would be tourist destinations, some of them would be proper cities. And collectively, these 5 regions are known as the NEOM project. Okay, In 2017, Mohammed bin Salman said that this entire project would cost around $500 billion. Now, this project, the NEOM project, is part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 project. Yes. Now, what is Vision 2030 project? You see, Saudi Arabia is dependent, the economy of Saudi Arabia is dependent on selling crude oil. But as we go into the future, the usage of crude oil is going to decline. People are going to get more dependent on electric vehicles and other sources of energy, renewable sources of energy. Plus, Saudi Arabia also has limited crude oil reserves. So at some point in future, their crude oil reserves would also get exhausted. But Saudi Arabia cannot completely depend on crude oil, because if it does so, what will happen after the crude oil reserves are exhausted? Okay, so Saudi Arabia needs to diversify its economy so that it's not completely dependent on crude oil. And for that, they launched Vision 2030. Okay, now this project's name, NEOM, comes from two different names. One is Neo and the other is called Mustaqbal. So Mustaqbal plus Neo, combine these two words and you get NEOM. Okay, now Neo means new, and it's a word in Greek language. Mustaqbal means future, and it's a word in Arabic language. So it's not Aramaic and Arabic, it's Greek and Arabic, new future. So this is false 1 and 2. Question number 3. Consider the following statements regarding Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, SWIFT. It is a cooperative established in 1973 and headquartered in New York. It is controlled by central banks of G10 countries and European Central Bank. It provides the main messaging network through which international payments are done. Okay. So what is basically SWIFT? SWIFT is a messaging service between international banks of different countries. Now, whenever you want to transfer an amount from a bank in one country, let's suppose in Belgium, to a bank in India, these two banks need to have a proper communication network. Okay? So that they know that the amount in Belgium's bank gets deducted and in India's bank gets credited. So they need to have a proper communication network, and that communication network is provided by SWIFT. So SWIFT basically facilitates international payments. Now, SWIFT was formed in 1973 and is headquartered in Belgium. Okay, not New York. So this is false. Now, SWIFT is actually controlled by central banks of G10 countries, European Central Bank, and Bank of Belgium. Okay, so this part is correct. This part is also not correct, because it is not controlled by only G10 and European Central Bank. It is also controlled by Central Bank of Belgium. Okay, and only 3 is correct. Question number 4. Consider the following regarding Initiative for Critical and Emerging Technologies. It is an Indo-US agreement launched on January 23 in Washington. It includes co-development and co-production of critical and emerging technologies like AI, quantum computing, wireless telecommunication, and semiconductors. Okay. Now, this question needs no explanation. This is precisely what ICET is. ICET is an agreement between India and USA for co-development and co-production of new technologies that would have applications in defense, high-tech technologies. So both these countries are collaborating for that. This is what ICET is. So both statements are correct. C. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I hope it added some value to your preparation, though it would add more value if you revise what was discussed in this lecture. And you can revise that through our PDF file, which contains detailed solutions of all the questions discussed in today's lecture in written form. The PDF file shall be available on our Telegram channel, and the link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below. So click on that link, go to our Telegram channel, follow it, download the PDF for not just this lecture, but all the other lectures featuring on our YouTube channel. On that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.